Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another fantastic Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of the Reich, Defender of the Fatherland, here to deliver unto you another glorious Propagandacast full of tactical, strategic analysis, and all with some added historical flair. We shall be watching Dullahan, a veteran Dawn of War II player here, fighting for the Infantrie Division in the name of the 136th Infantrie Division, going up against I'll get you someday, comrade, I'll get you someday, in fact, fighting for the Soviets for the 84th Rifle Division. A brutal fight is about to set off here on Kholodny Ferma, a 1 vs 1 and 2 vs 2 map, which is certainly one of the more interesting editions of Infantrie Division 2, and this is going to be an episode rather featuring some interesting things. And of course, stick around for the end, because I will be issuing a challenge. Yes indeed, ladies and gentlemen, a challenge in replays, so stick around because it'll be a bit exciting, at least I hope so. We are noting here that Dullahan is going for a bit more of a spread out approach, whereas we are noting here that I'll get you someday, clearly a vengeful person driven by inner demons of retribution, but he's going for the north. He's heading straight for the fuel, in fact. So that's definitely interesting. Of course, the two pioneers start from Dullahan, also of course indicating some other things. In fact, he's also immediately laying down some barbed wire, fortifying some positions in the name of the Reich, and an MG42, so a slightly more static approach it would seem, wiring off a lot, in fact. Quite interesting that, not very often we see that. Conscripts holding out there, just in case the Fascists might deliver a counterattack. Second squad of conscripts appearing over that hill. There we go, the MG42 slowly but surely advances. And Dullahan quite clearly intending here to block his opponent's movements via the barbed wire. Of course, in this case, they can just jump over the fence if they're clever enough, you know. Oh, whoops. All the way around there and then pop over the fence again, although that's still going to take some time. MG42 watching him in case of a direct Soviet assault down the road. Heinz shall quickly put a stop to that. Conscripts seem to not be bothering anymore with movement, apparently still guarding against a fascist assault from the south. Dullahan making further progress towards them. This barbed wire there to protect the vital standard territory point there, just referred to strategic point. That's rather what it goes from the first game. And already here he's actually getting minesweepers, but also basically wire cutters. This is the hazard removal package, basically for removing any kind of obstacle. And there you go, Grenadier squad out engaging conscripts. We might see another squad try to flank about here from the south, or go for the munitions. Either way, engagement finally in. Conscript moving up the pioneers down here. MG42 actually moving ahead, going to cut off here, though there's not really much to cut off. You really want to cut off this area, you want to go for this point. Well, Dullahan under a bit of pressure here. Rifle grenade here, in fact he's taken up awfully quick, apparently very swiftly wanting to get some rifle grenades out of there. Catching one Bolshevik, wounding the rest. Now we go, in fact, moving up to cut off this point, and we are seeing mortars here arriving for good Sir Dullahan. And conscripts advancing here. The MG42 is not pointing in the right direction. It's catching another conscript squad. And there we go, roaring up, going to hit that MG42's flank with the full fury of the motherland. MG42 tanks it up, and he's rushing into the house, while the other conscripts are still firing away there. That is definitely going to be a bit of a problem. There we go, MG42 pushed away, wiring off there as well. Dullahan certainly not giving up there. Communists joining in with the conscripts north versus the Grenadiers. Mortar moving out, Granatenwerfer, and we're seeing the light mechanized company going up already here for Mr. Dullahan. Center being secured. Another rifle grenade by the looks of it, ending the lives of a few more conscripts, resulting in a full rout here. Good usage, and well, fortunate usage of rifle grenades right there. And the Soviets instead connecting this path up, so we still have the fuel within them. Very determined Soviet player here. And now these pioneers might run into some problems. Mortifying here. We're actually noting smoke. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, smoke obscuring the line of sight of the enemy. Also a bit himself, you can't really see further beyond the smoke as well. Though in this case it doesn't really seem to have much of a purpose. But still, that's rather one of the reasons, in fact, I'm going to be showing this replay and commenting on it. It's the use of smoke, and it's going to get a lot more interesting after this quick barrage.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Firing away with the regular mortar, and we're seeing a second mortar here appearing for Dullahan. He's going to laying up a small mortar battery. In fact, MD42 firing away point blank at the conscripts, and the conscripts actually managed not to catch up with the pioneers up there. The grenadiers pushing up there. And a scout car arriving there. Infantrie Division being reinforced by some scout cars from the nearby Panzer divisions.
We are losing a sector.
Second one on the way, in fact. So a more mechanized approach. More barbed wire there. Dullahan certainly keen on his barbed wire. Another rifle grenade there, not quite wiping that, but certainly putting them down below helpful strength. Pioneers finally push back, and there we go. The leichte Panzerspielwagen moving up to try and deal with the Bolsheviks. Fuel point there falling as well. So in fact, Dullahan's approach here is rather making it a bit difficult for him to actually hold territory, as of course all the infantry can quickly move about any of the hard points he actually sets up at the time. And these conscripts need to consider getting out there before the scout car and the grenadiers finish them off. Having a bit of trouble with the snow. Conscript pushing up there. Conscript pushing up there. In fact, he's got 5 squads of conscripts. By the looks of it, it's a very infantry-heavy approach here from I'll Get You Someday. Mortars blasting. And then again, in fact, laying down some smoke so his troops can actually retreat without worrying about getting shot. Of course, that's one of the ways you can actually use smoke, although, of course, in this way you have to sort of be a bit more premeditating about it, but still, can be done as obviously shown. Covers the retreat. Scout cars holding up the rear as the mortars retreat, or at least one of them does. Also noting here, Jaeger Infantry, Festung support and joint operations for Dullahan in terms of doctrine. Of course, we'll be getting 5 more, 2 for the Soviets, 3 for the Germans here later today. I will be making additional videos sort of to describe what they are all about once they come out. Conscripts here getting cut down by the 2 scout cars. And a Soviet scout car popping out there.
This is now German territory.
And of course the obligatory combat engineers with a flamethrower getting popped into them. So nothing highly unusual there. Scout cars will need repairs. Quick fire pit up. That MG crew is not looking too good. In fact, he forgot to reload. Enforce it. And we are also seeing Jaeger Infantry being chosen here for Dullahan. Conscripts taking up position in the church. Conscripts taking up position here, going for the munitions once more. In fact, currently they're holding most of the map once more. Though taking an awful lot of machine gun fire from the scout cars and the machine gun. Mortar rounds falling down. Threatening to do a lot of harm. And these grenadiers need to get to cover, or at least some heat. There we go, in fact. But at the same time, conscripts supported by a scout car now moving up. And thus, a quick retreat is precipitated, and we see a response. Dullahan routing his pioneers and scout cars to deal with that, while the mortars continue to rain away at the church. And there we go, scout cars spotted by the German ones. Pioneers also moving up, firing into the much weaker rear armour. That's going to end up very badly for it. Church has collapsed with all of the conscripts in it. From church to tomb. And there we go, conscript squad moving up, but getting stopped with that one heroic lone machine gun. In fact, managed to pin the conscripts before being able to lob a single Molotov. And arrival of a half track now for Dullahan. Needs to be careful he doesn't knock it out in his own troops with the mortars, though.
Mortar element. Yes.
And a larger assault being prepared here in the north. It's full 3 conscript squads arriving. One of them veterans who won, the rest not quite as much. And of course, he's still got plenty of others there. Guards infantry arriving for I'll Get You Someday. And there we go, actually popping down smoke to allow them either to get close, of course, to get away. I mean, smoke works in both ways. It can allow you to get close if that is what you want. Of course, get away if that is what you want. So again, you know, really pushing here the attempt of using smoke, which is really good. What I like to see. I really think it's an underused ability. So actually seeing it used is bloody great. And in such a manner, in fact. And of course, you only really need one mortar for it. But of course, Dullahan here seems to be using 2 more to really get the most out of it, which is definitely also nice. Conscripts here, they're running into a lot of problems, more particularly burning problems. And also note, he's actually using an ability actually he rarely uses as well, infantry awareness. He actually uses this to keep track of his opponent's infantry so they can't sneak up on him, and against an ability German light vehicles have. But again, it's not really one used a lot. Sadly so. We also finally see some Panzergunners arriving here for Dullahan to reinforce the 134th Infantry.
The territory is out of contact.
Panzer Abwehrkanone also rolling in, and we're seeing these conscripts here getting blasted with mortar rounds.
Light infantry ready to fight.
And there we go, Infantry 2-1 the scout cars, making it harder to damage overall. Guards in support by a conscript squad. Quickly buttoning up the half track. And Veterans 1 for the mortar crew. Huzzah! Anti-tank rifles having a bit of trouble hitting the half track, sadly so. And we're actually noting here that it likely looks like he's gone for the guards for combined arms. Ooh, mortar rounds actually hitting their own half tracks. And actually looks like he might be popping some more smoke. Yes, indeed, to once more get out of there safely in case this engagement didn't quite work out for him. So again, using smoke to cover a retreat.
Mortar team awaiting orders.
Half track ready.
And it's actually time to pub out. I'll get you someday, as I usually switch between the two players, sort of give an idea of what they're using. And again, guards, rifle combined arms, submachine guns for all of his conscripts, of course, means he's definitely going to get the most out of this. Guards in for support. And we are now, of course, seeing a Tankovi battalion commander, T-70 light tank on the way. With a 45mm gun. That was ultimately replaced by the T-34-76. Once the limitation of the T-70 rather came about. And the T-34 easily could take over that job.
We are ready.
Conscripts here, though, not equipped with these submachine guns. In fact, end up doing not so well against the Grenadiers, since they're already a bit low on health. Combat engineers the rushing in to assist. And there we go. Jaeger infantry upgrade, Gewehr 43, increasing their rate of fire, increasing their damage overall. Really effective for Grenadiers. Also effective for Panzer Gunners, but doesn't quite have the same, well, noticeable effect in firepower, I suppose. And more smoke. In this case, it looks more like he's using it to actually lay down something in before an assault, so he can actually get closer to the enemy without taking withering defensive fire. And of course, another way to use it, or could he be just using it to mess with the enemy? Hard to say. Panzer is charging in there, flame for a half-tech fun grenade right into the clump. Doesn't do so much again. I do feel it's a bit unreliable at the moment. Flame for a half-tech, quickly torching the conscripts. An entire squad is lost. Quickly bundle up. T-70 moving in. Panzer is following up again, going to like to reinforce from it. T-70 tank firing into the side of the half-track. Conscripts firing in. Not a lot of machine guns at the moment for his conscripts, or submachine guns more specifically. Scout cars pushing down south. The combat units here going to be in a lot of trouble. And looks like the half-track might go down. He has absolutely nothing to actually stop this, except the pack, and that currently can't see it. In fact, also note here, in fact, I'll just pause and briefly highlight. Smoke as well can actually obscure, that is smoke from a wrecked vehicle, so in that sense the pack simply couldn't fire it, because again the wrecked half-tank, in particular the flame for half-tank, put down a lot of smoke. And there we go, more smoke this time to actually cover his retreat, so again they can't cut down his troops moving back. So again, really nice smoke usage there from Dullahan. And now we're seeing the scout cars quickly rolling up, as that's the only thing that can really hold it together at the moment. More T-70 tanks here arriving at the same time. I'll get you someday. Conscripts coming under a bit of intense fire. More smoke again, covering the retreat this time of his pack. Well done, Dullahan, well done. I'll get you someday pulling back. He's actually starting to suffer some slight losses. He's lost not just a conscript score, but a combat engineer unit. On the other hand, he's still got those two light tanks. And I do believe he just got the Grenadier squad on the retreat. Or something else then, I'm not entirely sure what. But there we go, just tearing into the front line here. He got one mortar. Needs to be careful though. Scout cars rushing back. Pack is in fact rushing back. I mean, that is really a devastating armored assault here we're seeing from I'll Get You Someday. Already veterans one for one T-70. Infantry getting murdered. Scout cars arriving, like to try and draw the attention. There we go. One getting upgraded with the auto cannon. Both mortar down. Pioneer squad down. Pan's going to somehow survive. And he's actually pulling back. He knows he doesn't need to hang around for too long because then he risks running inside tank guns with a quick hit and run and then get the devil out of there. And he was able to do a lot of damage. He cleared out several units. Oh, Pack might try and get something here. No, doesn't succeed. So in fact, he might lose his scout cars. There we go. One down. Panzerfaust gets. Ooh, and looks like one of the T-70 went down. That's not fast enough. At the same time, we are seeing armor arriving to support the infantry. It was not unusual to see bits of panzers being parceled out to support infantry divisions, in particular in the later stages of the war, which at the same time rather limited the effectiveness of the panzer divisions themselves.
Soldiers ready. Blizzard conditions are now in effect.
Pack sitting up there to dominate the central road. In fact, might catch. There we go. T-70. If only he had some smoke to lay down to protect his own armor. Though so far the Pack seems to have been having a bit of trouble actually hitting it. Mortars getting recruited by Pioneers, bravely so. Blizzard sets in, which of course also obscures line of sight. So of course combining that with smoke can be even more devastating. Sandbags going down there, lots of conscripts now being equipped with submachine guns. Some slowly freezing. Quickly into the warmth, and Panzer Grenadiers moving in. No hit the dirt here, though that's a bit of a shame, as that can usually make your conscripts much more powerful in terms of absorbing damage. In this case, though, they're going to end up very dead.
It's done. Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
So quiet, and what shall I'll Get You Someday's next response be to this? And more smoke by the looks of it. Yes, indeed, once more obscuring the line of sight of the defense in case he has some anti-tank guns there. And also infantry awareness again to keep a track of enemy infantry that might move up on him. Splendid work, splendid work. Conscript still holding out there, not reacting to this. And veterans free for the scout car.
Supply lines have been cut.
And we're seeing the mechanized armor company going up there. If I'll Get You Someday, mechanized armor company will lack result in the Su-85 tank destroyer, a very mean one. That's for sure. Conscripts versus Grenadiers. Who shall win this? No hit the dirt yet. Grenadiers doing what they can with the Gewehr 43s and hit the dirt. Which rather means they need to consider getting out there, but there we go, Scout Cars and Panzer IV. Pack moving up to deal with the fuel cache. And the retreat sets in.
Waiting for your command.
As German forces are now slowly getting the upper hand. And this pack might go down and in fact be stolen by the Soviets. Yes, indeed. And I imagine he will do so. In fact, again, attempted covering the retreat, but this time he was not fast enough. But even then, he can actually limit the effectiveness of the pack if it hits the right spots. But apparently, he's just obscuring the road. But of course, even then, as of course more is popped, and of course he sees a pan. Of course, it can also be used to deceive him, because then he might think something is going to come if he just sees smoke pop down. But pack here getting assaulted. It sadly does not have time enough, and the Su-85 is still some time up. There we go. Pack cleared out by the combined efforts of the Panzer IV and the scout car.
We are ready to go, comrades.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
What do you need?
We have an isolated sector.
We are as ready as we can be.
Need something. We are awaiting orders.
Points down south being secured. Scout car here, running into an awful lot of firepower. Less good at that. But again, constantly using infantry awareness to again stay aware of enemy infantry movements.
You need something demolished?
Splendid work that. And a few mines here to mess up any Soviet approaches.
The enemy has found us. Fall back. Fall back now.
In fact, laying down a larger minefield. We might soon be forced to cancel that.
Man down.
And there we go, field cancelled, and
Forces are attempting to capture our
a
territory.
considerable problem right there for Mr. I'll Get You One Day.
Incoming.
Popping back to Dullahan, and time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is a rather bit of a reversal from the beginning, where Dullahan was the one in trouble, having a bit of trouble holding the map. Now it's I'll Get You One Day who's forced back. He's not quite holding a lot of his territory. He's still holding most of the fuel points. Overall, though, Dullahan is holding the centre. He's holding the direct approaches, and thus he's dominating most of the ways in the map. And he's also got the considerably larger armour force. We did see further tech here from I'll Get You Someday, and of course the Su-85 might be able to turn the tide. On the other hand, of course, the smoke might be able to neutralise it, because while it has a long range, it can't fire through smoke like that. So of course, if it uses the smoke correctly, well, not much to do there for I'll Get You Someday. But still, he needs to push out somehow, and of course a small tank here causing a bit of havoc in the north would be one way, and of course trying to move south with another one, but that is similarly being covered here by these two vehicles, the tank and the scout car. So again, a northern approach is more likely to succeed. He could have of course also considered going not for the tank, this one, but instead for the support weapon company, and instead getting some field guns, but now he's resorting to the Su-85, so of course we'll have to see if that actually works out for him. Of course, getting that Panzer IV and perhaps this new Ostwind arriving would certainly be priorities. Scout car less so, although of course it's also making it easier for Dullahan to determine what's going on with his opponent. For Dullahan, he needs to hold on to the centre, he needs to preserve his armour, and he needs to get these points back in, of course also this, and otherwise, you know, keep pushing at the enemy. And of course continue using the smoke. So, let's return to the fight.
Scout car awaiting orders.
A fresh MG42 on the way.
Need us someplace warmer.
Territory secured. Grenadiers reporting.
Mines going down for I'll Get You Someday as well.
Keep it short.
It's done.
Defender Flak Panzer didn't only really show combat from 1945 on, didn't see so many examples made. Though generally could still have seen a lot of action, since usually only a small few would have been handed out to each division for their flak unit, and more specifically the self-propelled parts of it. T-70 here though in a bit of trouble, and scout car finishing it off. And there we go, the Su-85 tank destroyer.
Infantry taken.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
It's definitely going to be a problem for the fascist tanks.
We've captured it.
And there we go. First shot misses.
Infantry firing on us.
Definitely a shame. Second shot actually hits, and there we go. S-minefield, and they go quickly laying down smoke. Realising what's going on, he pops smoke to actually neutralise again. Now he actually has to get the H-85 much closer in, within range of the Panzer IV. And of course, at the same time, he could also just get away from there, giving more time to get out. So again, that's really good use of smoke, basically neutralising longer range units. Gonna kill on the Panzer IV. Bit of a shame, bit of shame. Scout also managed to make out of them. Panzer IV also definitely looks to be getting out of there, though some more smoke might be in place, and that's not happening. At least not for now. But again, right around here would be an idea then. Upgrading one squad of Panzermen it is with the Panzer VI. An anti-tank rifle left behind, could be seized by someone. And H-85 just rolling through the S-mines.
Our foes have 300 points remaining. Increase your efforts.
And there you go again, smoke.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Allowing the panzer gunners to move around, although in this case the smoke did not quite cover, and we saw the H-85 taking out one of them.
The squad of pioneers has arrived.
And he's actually moving in the Panzer IV, that seems a bit bold. Another half-check on the way to force the frontal positions. And that H-85 is going to need some repairs. He might also want to consider getting another one.
Pioneers here.
Things quietening down a bit.
We have the sector!
More smoke. Again obscuring the line of sight, and again ensuring the H-85 needs to get rather close to fire up on the Panzer IV, and of course getting within range of the Panzer VI. So again, really nice use of smoke, again very much recommendable.
Standing by.
And again, this episode is very much about the smoke, again an ability I don't see used that much, and again I want to promote. But we are seeing more infantry preparing up.
Pioneers awaiting orders.
Bunkers setting up, in fact.
Yeah.
Of course, using the half-tech to enforce his frontal positions without having to retreat back. And a command bunker as well. Interesting, interesting. It's a bit odd. And again, smoke. Constantly ensuring there is a smoke field obscuring his Panzer IV. And now moving through it. He might want to get one closer than to the H-85, just saying. Or at least, you know, blitzkrieg. Get behind it. Panzer is moving, and we're seeing tactical movement here, allowing his infantry to move much, much faster. Need to get that Panzer IV out of there. And looks like the H-85 is just turning away at the right time. At least the right time for him. Main gun destroyed. Panzerman is suffering horrific losses to the Guards infantry, doing their best to hold away the Hitlerites. And there we go again, laying down smoke to cover the retreat. Again, you could have chosen another direction, but that's one with smoke. The chance, of course, you could have used that, but there, using the mortars to fight the smoke. We do see the scout car finally going down. A tragic loss there for the Reich. They were true heroes, but they held out. Quickly getting back to repair that Panzerkampfwagen 4.
Panzer IV. Good kill.
You need fire support?
What?
Ostman getting a few kills down south.
Infantry rested and ready to advance rapidly. We are now authorized to request more powerful units.
It's done.
It's done.
Panzer IV.
More fire pits digging in here. And again, constantly laying down smoke to protect that Panzer IV. Well, in this case, apparently also protecting his own advances, which again is also works nicely. More guards, infantry and grenades going in from them. Doing less so. Grenadiers though need to get away. Regular mortar rounds going in. And so the Panzer IV arrives. Su-85 moving in quickly. And opening up on that damnable Panzer IV. Very close to Veterans 2, which is definitely going to make it much more lethal. In fact, it's almost going to double its damage. Conscripts doing what they can. There you go. Veterans 3 on this squad. Panzer strikes connecting with the Su-85. Those squads are inflicted. Panzer strike dropped, in fact, the jumps. But smoke goes down. Smoke goes down, allowing the Grenadiers and Panzers to pull back. So again, well-timed use there from Dullahan.
Yeah. Panzer IV ready.
More S-mines going down there. And more smoke. Certainly a man dedicated about his smoke. Hopping back to get someday, who is definitely having a problem dealing with his smoke, which again is rather doing his best to nullify his Su-85. And for that matter, his infantry. They're going up the Su-85, going to flank the Panzer IV. He's had enough, of course. And there you go, Panzer IV comes under direct fire. Guards infantry moving up. Grenades going off as well, but smoke once more is going to obscure the infantry. Panzer IV finally goes down to the Su-85, gaining veterans. Austrian might also be lost. And there we go, Su-85 again forced to take a much more awkward approach. He's also easily outflanked by Panzer Grenadiers with our Panzerschrecks. Well, in this case, the Panzerschrecks, since they've only got one. But we do see the Su-85 going down in a huge bloom of fire. We also know no more have been built here, nor were any tanks built to, for example, support it, which is also a bit of a shame. S-mines going off there, absolutely mutilating the guardsmen. And a fresh bit of smoke, again allowing him to basically charge through the tactical movement, again catching him a bit there close up. And certainly also that, we're actually helping him to get the most of his panzer gunners without suffering nasty losses. So again, smoke, it's useful for attacking as well, and not just defending. And there you go, Veterans 3 Panzer Grenadiers. Securing the victory points, but he's down to 10 points. He's definitely hanging on, just barely getting a second Su-85. Spotting the damnable mortar crew, which has made his life so difficult.
Ready!
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
The new men have arrived!
Blizzard conditions are imminent.
Halfway quickly moving up.
Now even Yuri can hit something.
And there we go, lots of Panzer Grenadiers appearing out of it.
Man down!
And quickly getting back in and then going to move on to the next point. Su-85 arriving.
Guards here.
There are no cowards here!
We are awaiting orders.
Riflemen ready.
The enemy is about to defeat us. We have only 10 points remaining.
We have only 10 points remaining. Yes, indeed, comrades.
The sector is at risk.
And a fresh assault up here. And again, smoke. And again, tactical movement. All this case, his half tank is a bit too far up and gets wrecked. In fact, abandoned. The crew dies horrifically. And there we go. Game over. A loss to the Soviet Union. A victory for the Reich. And a good display of smoke again. The primary reason I pretty much showed this. I mean, it was also a good fight all in all on its own. But it was primarily the smoke I wanted to show this one. Basically the defensive and offensive use of it. And of course this I was talking about in a challenge in the beginning of the match. Well, here it goes. I am setting up a small replay challenge here for you ladies and gentlemen to provide me with the most exciting replay you can provide, where you actually actively use smoke offensively, defensively. 1 versus 1s, 2 versus 2s, victory points. Otherwise, doesn't matter what map. Also, of course, note, I mean, it doesn't just have to be mortar smoke. It can be, you know, smoke discharges, smoke grenades, smoke call-ins from other infantry like the officer or the Festung support smoke drop. But either way, smoke. I want to see smoke. I want people to get creative with smoke while attacking, while defending. And I want lots of replays. Best one gets featured here on Sunday, which I'll be calling Smoking Sunday. So I hope you're ready, of course. And of course, if you want to know how to send it in, at the end of the replay, in fact, at the end of every episode, there's a small bit detailing that. Or the note where it says Company 1, just, you know, replace with Company 2, and you're pretty much good to go. So get to work on those replays. Get to work on using smoke. Get creative, get nasty, get fiendish, get tricksy, whatever. Just get to using smoke. Don't care about the health concerns. You're not the one breathing it in. So this is Imperial Dane saying cheers and get towards using smoke. Cheers. Actually, I probably still should out, you know, the replay address to send into is propagandacast@gmail.com. And also very important, very important, mark the replay Smoking Sunday. And also the email, and be sure on the replay also to add in your username so I can actually quickly figure it out. You know, don't just send a replay with barely any name. Smoking Sunday, whatever name you have in the game. Cheers.